The Soddit. The Soddit, or Let's Cash In Again, is a 2003 parody of J.R.R., Tolkien's 1937 novel The Hobbit, written by A.R.R.R. Roberts. The book jacket states, "Following on inevitably, some might say from the frankly unlikely success of Board of the Rings comes a new book from an entirely different author that parodies Tolkien's other and undoubtedly shorter masterpiece." The book consists of primarily slapstick-style jokes, with characters of slightly different names from the original ones, for example, Bingo as opposed to Bilbo, and a slightly altered main storyline. As the book progresses, the story departs further and further from the original storyline. It is also illustrated in Glorius Mono-colour, again stated on the book jacket by Douglas Carrel. Plot summary. The story starts with a peaceful Soddit called Bingo who is visited by a wizard, Gandalf, and a party of dwarfs led by Thorin and Mori, who ask Bingo to come with them on a quest to the only mountain where Smug the dragon lives. After a few drinks, Bingo accepts, not knowing what they were actually searching for. Gold, boy oh gold, lad look you. On the way they have many adventures and close shaves, including their ponies drowning in the river, and losing all luggage but one helmet. Roberts says he wanted the company fighting through the Piccadilly Flea Circus and fighting the Daleks from Doctor Who, but he says it was cut for time. They have a nasty run-in with some trollops, who plan to eat them, successfully squash 4 dwarfs, but they annoy the wizard Gandalf, who temporarily turns them to mounds of sand as opposed to real stone. While at the tree village of Riverdale, Ella Square and the other tree elves of the High Council ridicule the dwarfs for their loss of their 4 comrades and call it carelessness. The company entered the mountains after Gandalf struggled to open the door until he coughed, which was apparently the password. In the mountains they encounter goblins, which are evil turkeys, who take them to their town, but the dwarves all fight out. Gandalf repeatedly decapitates countless goblins while in combat. A 5th dwarf dies in friendly fire from Gandalf, and Bingo gets lost by falling down the abyss. He falls into a cavern where he meets a morose philosopher named Solemn. He challenges him to a game of riddles, with the cannibalistic philosopher seeing Bingo's presence as the only delightful moment in his life. Bingo wins the riddles and asks what he wins, but then remembers he found a finger that was created by evil Dark Lord Sharon and is Solemn's. So the philosopher tries to eat him, but he escapes due to the finger's super speed. After reuniting with the party, the dwarfs are chased by non-sentient wolves, hide in a tree, until the pack gives up, where a 6th dwarf dies. Following the minimal casualties from the wolves, the company simply climb down the tree and walk away. Gandalf plans to take them to a mill, which is famous, but it has been burned when they get there. Then they go to see a fearsome maniac, Bjorn the Bear Man, who is reputed to change from man to bear at night. But later during the visit they find he is just a totally crazy, naked man who thinks he can transform. They shut him outside his house to calm him down, and then they move on, leaving him to mumble. The next bit is the enchanted forest of Muikiwood, which has been under an illusion spell for some time. As in the original, the streams are magic and turn to rapids quick. They meet highly bitter, political spiders in the forest who want to lay eggs in their beards, but Bingo realizes the finger can get them out of their peril, which it does. It works by reversed spells, but a 7th dwarf dies from using it to heal his ankles. Then they find a brewery where the men are morbidly obese dwarfs and drunk and want to drown them because they can't sing. After unintentionally using the finger to obtain drunken immunity, Bingo gets them out. They get to Lakeside, where they go off to the only mountain, where Bingo asks if the dwarves are going to finally tell him why he's there. Upon hearing that he has to go down a chimney, Bingo is accidentally thrown down said chimney when Maury promises to tell him the truth and meets the dragon Smug, who is actually very friendly and even offers him tea. Smug says he hasn't made any enemies and doesn't know of anyone who would kill him. He is worried he has driven away the Lakesiders' business, so he says he'll fly over to talk. But the dwarves are angry and tell Bingo that Gandalf was a dwarf, he has changed into a wizard, and he'll now change into a dragon because that's nature, and that's where dragons come from. Smug is shot dead at Lakeside by Lard the Bowman, and 20,000 goblins led by the Great Goblin attack, but the 6 remaining dwarves led by Maury, 500 men led by Lard, 500 elves led by Ellisquare, and Bingo, led by himself, fight them. At the end, most of the men and elves are massacred. 3 more dwarfs die, Maury is severely injured, and the goblins swarm round them demanding the finger, but Bingo tricks them by giving them the barking stone, which they believe is the finger, and whispers in it war, which causes Gandalf's dragon breath to erupt from the only mountain's chimney, and kill. After the Battle of the 5 Armies has ended, Maury dies in Bingo's arms, which finishes off in a style of a Looney Tunes ending, and thus only 2 dwarfs of the company have survived the quest. Gandalf is confirmed and revealed to be a dragon, who can't remember that he wiped out the goblin army and saved the survivors single-handedly before flying Bingo home. Standard Edition, 343 pages, miniature edition. Published by Gollancz of the Orion Publishing Group, London, England. ISBN 0-575-7554-6. The story was also produced in abridged audiobook form by Orion Audiobooks. The product contains 3 CD runs for 4 hours and is read by Mark Perry. ISBN 0-7528-6165-4. Parodies. Reception. Stephen H. Silver delivered a favorable review of the book in 2004. He observed that Roberts used Tolkien's own excesses which readily give themselves to parody. According to Silver, the Soddit had not simply become a joke but is a full novel with deep characters and new parts in the plot. References